Alrighty, folks, what's going on? This is Matt here for Dark One Linux Tech Gaming, which is the fusion of Linux technology and gaming. And oh boy, Microsoft. Microsoft has lost 9,000 players. So what do I mean by that? Microsoft has cut 9,000 jobs, mostly focusing on their gaming marketing and anything related to gaming. Oh boy. Um, you know, Microsoft has spent a lot of money over the last 5, 6 years making acquisitions. And where it's heading, I don't think it's in the right direction. I know there was recently an interview with, can't remember her name, but she was one of the OG Xbox developer, founding team member kind of things. And she didn't like the direction Xbox had because it didn't have an identity. Now, to kind of encapsulate what she's talking about, Xbox had like 360 era, which is most considered the golden era of Xbox, had a fucking identity. Unique shooters, multiplayer, community, all of that stuff was around Xbox at the time, at least in the States. And I know Japan's always been its kind of its own thing, but that was always like that was its identity. And now it just doesn't fucking have one. You can make hardware deals, cool, but like it's getting out of essentially doing hardware. It's 3DO'd essentially its hardware, by partnering with AMD and Asus and all these other ones. So instead of making Xbox specific hardware or slowly phasing out making specifically Xbox hardware, they're licensing it out to third parties. Again, who else did that? 3DO, Magnavox, Gold, but like that was how that worked. So it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. And then you look at the amount of money they have spent over the last 4 or 5 years, probably close to $100 billion in acquisitions. And what is your ROI for titles and stuff? Besides maybe, at best, maybe Call of Duty. Like, what's the ROI been? Have you gotten your 100 billion back from all those acquisitions? How have the financials of like Hellblade 2, because there were a lot of other games that could have been made that were probably sold better if you had let them be finished, as opposed to some of these other games that you've put out and they just don't work. When what was it? Was it Tango GameWorks? I'm probably butchering the name, but like a lot of these studios that you have bought have not seen a good ROI. I like Hellblade 1. Hellblade 2, for the cost you were looking for, was not worth it. And then your sole focus on fucking Game Pass. And I get why, because you're looking at Game Pass as like a Netflix, and if you have a level of content that's yours to control, et cetera, your value add, all this other stuff, it makes it easier. I get that. But the thing is, this is where, from a business perspective, they miss the aspect of what it means for gaming. They look at Spotify and, oh, it's all streaming, or it's all, the next level is simply just looking at it as games as a service, SaaS, software as a service, whatever you want to call it. And it's not, because the difference between things like Spotify, Pandora, Netflix, Hulu, all these other mediums that do similar, where it's on demand, essentially, the difference is those are passive. Now I can sit there and watch a movie, but I can also do other things. When I grab a controller, there's an intention to be interactive. It is not passive. So when I grab a controller, I expect to engage a certain level of interactivity with the fucking content I'm seeing, which is not what you do as it is with the other ones. And this is something that I think Phil Spencer has fucking missed, because it doesn't work for the same kind of audience. If a gamer, I remember going and renting, going to Blockbuster, your local movie shop at the time and renting for 2, 3, 4 days. How many times did you re-rent the same fucking game or movie? Okay, let's just solely look at the game. How many times did you re-rent the same game because you didn't have enough fucking time with it? That is essentially what Game Pass is. You don't know how long it's gonna fucking be there. So do I want to invest, pick an RPG, JRPG, pick a, whatever. Do I want to invest like 150 hours in an Elden Ring or it was redundant to say Skyrim, but to drive home the point, do you want to invest all that time, effort, and energy into something like that? And just one day it's off the service. What do you have to show for it for an interactive medium? Because instinctually, you're going to look at it as a time investment. I just wasted 150 hours with nothing to fucking show for it because it went poof and it's gone. The only other game that I can equate that to is fucking Minecraft. You have this big elaborate thing and poof, somebody blows it up, goes away, server's gone, whatever. You know how pissed most of those people are that have had that happen? Because it's all gone. Every last bit of it. And they have nothing to show for what they were being creative with. And again, Microsoft has shown that they can't be creative, in my view, because look at how they've done dirty their consumer end products for the last 25 years. Every iteration of fucking Windows has been worse somehow. I didn't think that was fucking possible, but it was. And, what do you get in Windows 11 now? Oh, cool. Ads. Oh, cool. Ads in my search. Oh, cool. Ads in my file browser. Awesome. I'm not even getting into the privacy nonsense. So I pay for the privilege of getting of the license to get ads served to me. Awesome. And you know who else did this thing is everything or this is everywhere and they're not around anymore? Microsoft, kind of like what you're doing with Xbox or trying to do. Stadia. How'd that work out for Google? How'd that work out for the myriad of other fucking streaming apps and services that tried to do on demand games as a service nonsense? How has that worked out for them? Because if you look at your financials and your gaming division, you specifically talk about Game Pass essentially being fucking flat. But you have spent over almost $100 billion on investments with multiple years of no ROI. How long are investors going to like that? And then you cut 9,000 fucking jobs from the same division that you just invested 100 billion in. Does it inspire confidence? And the confidence that it doesn't inspire is in the leadership. I'm just going to say it. I like Phil Spencer as a gamer, as a personality, but as far as someone managing game studios, etc., I think he is very, very inept as far as the ROI that you get from games and the direction Xbox is going. Because he missed the fucking boat on other companies doing it, and he missed the boat on that it's an interactive fucking medium. Phil, here's your message. It's interactive. It's not passive.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.